The Books of Recovery. This is a 3rd edition Big Book. This is a 4th edition Big Book. Big Book is the fond nickname for this volume. The book is really called Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous, 4th edition. Table of Contents. The Preface. Let's read the preface. This is the 4th edition of the book Alcoholics Anonymous. The 1st edition appeared in April 1939. In the following 16 years, more than 300,000 copies went into circulation. The 2nd edition, published in 1955, reached a total of more than 1,150,500 copies. The 3rd edition, which came off the press in 1976, achieved a circulation of approximately 19,550,000 copies in all formats. Because this book has become the basic text for our society and has helped such large numbers of alcoholic men and women to recovery, there exists strong sentiment against any radical changes being made in it. Therefore, the first portion of this volume, describing the AA recovery program, has been left largely untouched in the course of revisions made for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th editions. And here they are talking about the first 164 pages of this volume, which contain the program for recovery. See, there's the personal stories, and then if you follow on this page, that's page 164. So from this page until this page, this part of the book contains the program of recovery, and that's what they're talking about. Strong resistance to change being made in that. The section called The Doctor's Opinion has been kept intact, just as it was originally written in 1939 by the late Dr. William D. Silkworth, our society's great medical benefactor. The 2nd edition, labeled the appendices. The 2nd edition added the appendices, the 12 traditions, and the directions for getting in touch with AA. But the chief change was in the 2nd section of personal stories, which was expanded to reflect the fellowship's growth. Bill's story, Dr. Bob's nightmare, and one other personal history from the 1st edition were retained intact. 3 were edited, and one of these was retitled. And the one that was retitled was Dr. Alcoholic Addict. That was retitled to some other deal to do with acceptance or something. Usually, some people remember that title because it was about acceptance on page 449 in the 3rd edition, and the 4th edition it was on page 417. New versions of 2 stories were rewritten with new titles. 30 completely new stories were added, and the story section was divided into 3 parts under the same headings that are used now. In the 3rd edition, Part 1, Pioneers of AA, was left unchanged. 9 of the stories in Part 2, they stopped in time, were carried over from the 2nd edition. 8 new stories were added. In Part 3, they lost nearly all. 8 stories were retained. 5 new ones were added. This 4th edition includes the 12 concepts for world service and revises the 3 sections of personal stories as follows. 1 new story has been added to Part 1, and 2 that originally appeared in Part 3 have been repositioned there. 6 stories have been deleted. 6 of the stories in Part 2 have been carried over. 11 new ones have been added, and 11 taken out. Part 3 now includes 12 new stories. 8 were removed, in addition to the 2 that were transferred to Part 1. All changes made over the years in the Big Book, which is AA's fond nickname for this volume, all these changes have had the same purpose: to represent the current membership of Alcoholics Anonymous more accurately, and thereby to reach more alcoholics. If you have a drinking problem, we hope that you may pause in reading one of the 42 personal stories and think, yes, that happened to me. Or more important, yes, I felt like that. Or most important, yes, I believe that this program can work for me too. So that is the preface to the book Alcoholics Anonymous. Preface to the book, which this video covers. Have a great day.